comparing and converting fractions and decimals. So in this lesson, we want to go back and forth between fractions and decimals. We'll start by converting fractions to decimals. And when we have a fraction, we need to remember that the bar is a symbol for division. It means divide. And you're dividing the top by the bottom. Top divided by bottom. So we just need to set up a long division problem. 5 divided by 16. 16 won't go into 5, so we put a decimal there and a 0 to make it 50. The decimal goes straight up. Then 16 goes into 50 3 times. 3 times 16 is 48. Subtract 2. Keep going unless you're told to round. So another 0. 16 goes into 20 once. And subtract, that's 40. Keep going. 16 goes into 40 2 times. 2 times 16 is 32. Subtract. Add another 0. 16 goes into 80 5 times. And 5 times 16 is 80. So we have 0.3125. If, when you keep going with your zeros, you get to a 0 remainder, we say that that decimal is terminating. If something terminates, it stops. So that's a terminating decimal. Let's try converting 5/9 to the decimal. It's top divided by bottom. So 5 divided by 9. 9 won't go into 5, so we put our decimal, change it to a 50. 9 goes into 50 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45, and subtract, and that's 5. So if we fill in another 0, we've got 50 again. 5 times 45. And we can see that this is just going to keep going on forever with 5s. So you would write that as 0.5 with a bar on top, indicating that it does that forever. This is a repeating decimal because the pattern repeats over and over and over again. This time, we're told where to round. We want to round to the thousandths place. So if you think about where that would be, here's our decimal, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, the third place. But in order to round, you have to be able to look to the right to know if you need to go up or stay the same. So I'm actually going to have to divide out to 4 places so that I can round back to 3. So you have to go out 1 more every time. Out 4, back to 3. It's top divided by bottom. 5 divided by 56. $56 won't go into 5. 56 won't go into 50. So we'll do 56 into 500. That goes 8 times, and you can use your calculator to figure that part out. 8 times 56 is 448. And when you subtract that, you get 52. We'll fill in another 0. 56 into 520 goes 9 times. 9 times 56 is 504. Subtract, and it's 160. Or actually 16, but we fill in a 0. 56 into 160 is twice. Now we've gone out 4 places. We don't need to multiply 2 times 56 and subtract or any of that because we can stop once we've got 4 digits up at the top. I need to round. So if I've got 0.0892, I want to round to the thousandths. So I look to the right. Is it 5 or bigger? It is not, so the 9 stays a 9, 0.089. So to convert a fraction to a decimal, you divide top divided by bottom. Now let's go the other way around. We want to convert to fractions, and we want it in the simplest form. That means we need to reduce. So we're going to look at 1.25, and I want to convert that to a fraction. I can see that I have hundredths when I go out to the farthest place, hundredths. So I can rewrite that as 1/25 over 100, because I'm at the hundredths place. And then I reduce. 25 and 100 both divide by 4. So 25 divided by, just kidding, not 4. 25 and 100 both divide by 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So we've written it in simplest form. We've reduced it by dividing by 4. Let's try another one. 0.485. So look at the digits. We've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. There's no whole number, so it's just going to be the fraction 485 over 1,000. You might have to do a little bit of work to figure out what both of those divide by until you get it down in its simplest form. But they both divide by 5. And when you divide top and bottom by 5, you come out with 97 over 200 as the reduced or simplest form. .4. We're in the tenths place. There's no whole number, so we write that 4 over 10, and hopefully you could quickly reduce that down. 4 and 10 both divide by 2. So dividing top and bottom by 2, 2 over 5. Now let's compare fractions and decimals and figure out which one is bigger or smaller. And we want to place either a less than or a greater than symbol in between the two numbers. Less than or greater than. Remember, the less than symbol sort of looks like an L that's tilted a little bit to the right. So the first one I'm going to compare is 7/8 compared to 0.9. You can either have both values be decimals or have both values be fractions. It's actually faster if you have them both be decimals. So I need to change 7/8 to a decimal. That's top divided by bottom. 7 divided by 8. 8 doesn't go into 7, so we'll put our decimal. 8 goes into 70 8 times. Now we don't really need to go any farther than that because it's going to be 0.8 and some other digits compared to 0.9. It doesn't matter how many digits there are behind 0.8. 0.9 is always going to be larger than that. So 7/8 is less than 0.9. Let's compare 0.55 to 5/9. So I want to change 5/9 to a decimal. It's 5 divided by 9. We actually did this earlier. And if you remember, it's 0.5 repeating. We keep having 50s over and over again. Well, if I stop there, it almost looks like they're equal, 0.55, 0.55. So let's go one more digit and see. If I go one more digit, I know those 5s go forever. I'm comparing basically 0.550 to 0.555. So 0.55 is less than 5/9.